This video contains content appropriate for Americans over the age of 18 and Czechs over the age of 4. Americans are big-time prudes when it comes to nudity, and I'm one of them. I grew up in a Catholic household, and we were taught to not look below your collarbone. Just don't even get curious. Czechs are a lot more comfortable with their nude bodies, and they think you should be more comfortable too with their bodies. This is one of the most shocking things that Americans are confronted with when they come to this country. The very open nudiness. Is that a word? So for those of you never nudes like me, here are the top 10 places to avoid when you visit the Czech Republic. Obviously, you would stay away from a nude beach, but in Czechia, any beach can be a nude beach. I use the term beach loosely here. I'm mostly talking about the dusty banks along the Vltava River. And just to get the terminology right from the start, the preferred nomenclature is naturalist, not nudist. The Czechs want you to be politically correct about it. I once stumbled over an elderly naturalist couple along the Vltava riverbanks when I was searching for my golf ball near Hotkovičky. The Czech naturalists even made international news when the Prague police had to warn some of them to make sure to wear masks, even though they were exposing everything else to the rest of the world. You really can't blame the Czechs for wanting to strip down on whatever beach they can find, but you also must be aware of city parks, where the minute the cherry blossoms bloom, the Czechs like to strip down to their undies. There you can see an array of Czechs in various sizes and various ages, stripping down to various stages of undress. For Americans, parks are places for children and elderly couples, and not a place for offensive body parts. Out of respect for nature, we Americans like to keep our bits covered up, whereas Czechs like to let their bits out for a little bit of freedom. Obviously, the doctor's offices in America are going to require some nudity, but the nudity in Czech doctor's offices is just a little less delicate. So prudish Americans, beware. In the United States, you'll be given strips of paper to hide parts of your body while the doctor examines other parts of your body. It's so that we can maintain dignity. Czech doctors do not have the time or patience to deal with your embarrassment. If you're a female in America and you have a male doctor, you will always have a female nurse present in the room during your examination. The first time I went to a doctor here, he was a rather large male doctor, and the examination room door was closed and we were alone, and he asked me to disrobe and sit on the bed, and he sat next to me and kind of like checked my breathing, and it all felt way too intimate, and I just kept telling myself, this is a cultural difference, but I'm not gonna lie, I had my elbow like ready to go in case he made any false move. And if you're Czech, you're probably thinking like, what the hell kind of doctors do they have in America? And I would point them towards the series of scandals of physician abuse that seem to make the headlines every year in the United States. Yes, even your Czech apartment building can be a dangerous place for the prudish American. I've heard that Czech men basically strip down to their undies the minute they get home. Can anyone confirm this in the comments? So our apartment building is really old, so the neighbor's toilet is actually across the common hallway. So very often you can see him scurrying to the toilet wearing nothing but his undies. Even in their own Czech apartments, Americans have to hide their nudity because we have these giant windows, and unless you have curtains, people across the way can just like see you as if you're on a lit stage. Last summer, there was a whole naturalist party of what appeared to be male models on the balcony across the way of our courtyard. What was I supposed to do? Not look? I was curious. I totally didn't post it on Instagram. But how would you know if you don't follow me? Sometimes exposed body parts are a side effect of other behaviors. For example, I live near a grassy square and I very often stumble upon someone urinating in the bushes. Mostly men. Very often you'll see a parent hoisting their child up over a bush or a spot of dirt so they can urinate. The other night I saw a lady squat and pee into a patch of dirt. That's rare though, and I'm pretty sure she was drunk. What I don't get is that unlike America, in Prague there are public toilets and they're 50 feet away from this square. I don't understand why they need to go with an audience. On that note, we were driving back from Brno and we were stopped in traffic, and one gentleman got out of his car to urinate, which I understand. We were stuck for a long time, but instead of going to the shoulder, he went into the center divider where all the oncoming traffic could watch him. You'd think the gusts of wind coming in his direction would have deterred him from doing that, but nope. Another thing that was kind of shocking that would have totally been a front page story in America was one time when I was in the beer garden in Regrovi Sadi, a woman was breastfeeding her child openly, and the kid was standing on the bench next to her on his own 2 feet, pausing between gulps to have a conversation, presumably, and she was just standing there bare-breasted for all to see. I don't find anything wrong with this, but in America, this is so controversial that they actually talk about this on the news, whether women should be allowed to breastfeed their children in public. I mean, Americans don't want to deal with all the feelings of shame and embarrassment at seeing a breast that's not in a porn magazine, so your child is just gonna have to starve. Before we get to the top 5 places that prudish Americans should avoid in the Czech Republic, I want to thank this week's sponsor, NordVPN. Whether you're a Czech who likes to let it all hang out, or an American who likes to cover it all up, you definitely don't want to expose your personal information to predators on the internet, especially when you travel. That's where NordVPN comes in. It's one of the best travel tools you can invest in. Install it on your mobile, tablet, or notebook before you travel to securely use public Wi-Fi, to get better deals on train and plane tickets, even to watch your favorite shows or sporting events while you're abroad. NordVPN has over 5,400 servers in 59 countries, so you can use it wherever you go to make sure that your personal information never gets exposed. Right now, NordVPN is offering a special deal for Dream Prague viewers. Go to the link below and enter the code DREAMPRAGUE to get a 2-year plan plus an extra month for 70% off. That's only €2.85 a month. That's cheaper than a beer at the Prague airport, and way cheaper than dealing with a stolen identity. When you sign up using the link below, you help me support this channel so I can keep bringing you more videos. Of course, the locals here in Prague love to celebrate No Pants Day on the metro, because of course they do. But any normal day on the Prague metro, you might just be sitting across from a lovely little old lady who seems to be reading a porn magazine. Oh no, wait, that's just the free Metro newspaper with advertisements with naked ladies on the back cover. That would definitely be looked down upon in America, and you'd probably get some angry parents coming over to you and telling you to read your filth in private. Another thing that's kind of shocking is the prevalence of sex shops in very central parts of the city, with very graphic illustrations of what they're selling inside. The sex shops in America are usually kept to the seedy parts of town, usually reserved for Republican press conferences. And I'm sure there's some states in America where they're not allowed at all. That's probably where they need them the most. If you're a prude American, beware the public pools in the Czech Republic. In general, people will be wearing swimsuits, but if you happen to be at, say, my local pool after 7:45 p.m. on a Tuesday, you might have the shock of your life, because this is the designated FKK, or Free Body Culture Hour of Swim, from the website. And this is good. Which kind of people is coming? couples, singles, old, young, boys, girls, women, men, families with children, anyone in the age between 0 and 100. Smiley face. Both regulars and new faces. Afraid of weird people? No problem. Never seen any inside the pool. There's also no problem with any unwanted observers from the outside. No windows at all. Usually in a ladies' locker room in America, there will be that one woman, mid-50s, recently divorced, rediscovering her sexuality, who's just letting the ladies out to play. But everybody else's eyes are down, trying to dress as quickly as possible. I am the one in the corner behind the plant with 3 towels on me, dressing at light speed. In the Czech locker rooms, women are walking around bare-breasted, taking their time, doing their hair, applying fake eyelashes, and painting their nails. No problem. I also have never showered in an open shower room where multiple women can shower at the same time. In the United States, you get your own little shower cell. Hansa says that these open showers are typical in the male dressing rooms in both the Czech Republic and in the hockey changing rooms of the United States, which makes me even more suspicious of hockey players. And the number 1 most horrifying place for a prude American is the Czech sauna. And the Czechs love them some saunas. My first and only time in a Czech sauna was with a group of adult students and colleagues in a co-ed sauna. And the crazy part is that you're not even allowed to wear a bathing suit if you want to. You have to go naked. And as far as I can remember, they didn't even allow you to take a towel. They gave you these bed sheets, and most of the people didn't even use them. I didn't realize that the sauna itself was co-ed until I went into the main part and one of my male students came up to me in the nude to ask me if I'd ever been to a Czech sauna. I cannot express to you what it's like to be a never nude who finds herself in a co-ed sauna with her students and colleagues. I still have nightmares. Before I get a zillion comments about how our naked bodies are natural and Americans shouldn't be sexualizing everything and demonizing nudity at the same time, I agree. Intellectually, I agree. But when you grow up in a Catholic house in a prudish country, it's just something else I've got to get used to. So what do you think? Does the Czech relationship to nudity seem strange to you, or do you think it seems a lot more healthy than the American attitude? Let me know in the comments below. Uvidíme se příští týden. Ahoj!